Lisa Carter adjusted her blue diplomatic uniform as she walked through the long hallways of Harmony Prime Station. The massive space station floated in neutral space, serving as the meeting place for all species in the galaxy. As Earth's ambassador, she had spent 15 years learning to smile at beings who looked down on her species. Today felt different, though. Something was wrong. The Zephyrians had been acting strange for weeks. Their lizard-like faces showed more aggression than usual during council meetings. Ambassador Vex Kalar had been asking pointed questions about human military strength. Yesterday, he had laughed when Lisa mentioned Earth's peaceful exploration. "Missions. Ambassador Carter," called a voice behind her. She turned to see Dr. Amy Rodriguez hurrying down the corridor. Amy worked as a science officer on one of Earth's research ships, but she was also Lisa's secret contact with Earth Command. "We need to talk," Amy said quietly. "My ship just received some disturbing news from the outer colonies." They stepped into Lisa's private office. The room was simple, with earth plants growing in small pots and pictures of blue oceans on the walls. Lisa had always kept it humble. It was part of the act her species had been playing for 30 years. "What happened?" Lisa asked. Amy's face was grim. "The colony on Kepler 442b stopped responding 3 days ago. Their last message mentioned Zephyrian scout ships in their system. Earth Command thinks they might have been attacked." Lisa felt cold. Kepler 442b was home to 50,000 humans. It was a farming world, peaceful and defenseless. At least that's what everyone in the galaxy believed. "Have we sent ships to investigate?" Lisa asked. "Captain Jake Morrison and the USS Liberty are already on their way," Amy replied. "But Lisa, there's something else. Earth Command sent me new orders." She handed over a sealed data pad. "They're marked as Revelation Protocol." Lisa's hands shook as she took the pad. Revelation Protocol. She had hoped this day would never come. For 30 years, humanity had played the role of the weak but diplomatic species. They attended council meetings. They negotiated treaties. They always chose peace over conflict. The other species saw them as soft, easy to push around. They had no idea how wrong they were. Lisa opened the datapad and read the orders. Her face went pale. "They want us to drop the act?" "If necessary," Amy nodded. "The Zephyrians crossed a line. Earth isn't going to pretend anymore." Across the galaxy, Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the USS Liberty. To anyone watching, it looked like a simple research vessel. The ship was painted white with blue Earth symbols. Its sensors were visible on the outside, along with communication arrays and scientific equipment. What no one could see were the weapon systems hidden inside the ship's hull. "Captain," said Tony Blake from the communication station, "we're getting close to the Kepler system. Still no response from the colony." Jake was a tall man with gray hair and calm eyes. He had been captain of the Liberty for 8 years. Everyone in the galaxy knew him as a peaceful explorer who made friends with alien species. They didn't know he was also a veteran of 3 secret wars that humanity had fought and won. "Any other ships in the area?" Jake asked. "Yes, sir," replied Chief Science Officer Dr. Kevin Martinez. "I'm reading 2 Zephyrian battle cruisers orbiting the planet. They're just sitting there." Jake's jaw tightened. The Zephyrians had no business in human space. The colony was under Earth's protection according to galactic law, but the lizard-like aliens had been getting bolder lately. They seemed to think humans wouldn't fight back. "Sir," Tony said, "I'm getting a message from the Zephyrian ships. They're ordering us to leave the system immediately." "Tell them we're here on a humanitarian mission to check on our colony," Jake replied. A few minutes later, Tony looked up with a worried expression. "Sir, they're laughing at us. The Zephyrian captain says humans are too weak to do anything about their presence here." Jake walked to his captain's chair and sat down slowly. He pressed a button that would encrypt their communications with Earth. "Command. This is Captain Morrison to Earth Command. Request permission to reveal true capabilities." The reply came back within seconds. "Permission granted, Captain. Show them what humans really are." On Harmony Prime, Lisa was meeting with the Galactic Council. The chamber was huge, with seats for representatives from dozens of species. The Zephyrians sat in a group on one side, their yellow eyes gleaming with amusement. The insectoid hive collective clustered together, clicking and buzzing to each other. The ancient Vorthan assembly looked down at everyone from their raised platform. "Honored representatives," Lisa began, "I've called this emergency session to discuss the situation at Kepler 442b. A human colony has gone silent, and Zephyrian ships are in the system." Ambassador Vex Kalar stood up. His scaled skin caught the light as he smiled, showing sharp teeth. "The humans are concerned about their little farming world? How touching. Perhaps you should send more of your research ships to help." "Several," Species laughed. The Hive Collective buzzed louder, which was their way of showing amusement. Lisa had endured this kind of treatment for years. Humanity was seen as the galaxy's weakest species, only useful for farming and scientific research. "We are prepared to take stronger action if necessary," Lisa said calmly. This caused even more laughter. A Vorthon representative spoke in their deep, ancient voice. "What action could the soft humans possibly take? Will you negotiate the Zephyrians to death?" Lisa looked around the chamber at all the alien faces staring at her with amusement or pity. None of them knew the truth. They had no idea that humanity's research ships carried enough firepower to level planets. They didn't know that human colonies were actually military strongholds in disguise. They couldn't imagine that Earth's peaceful diplomats were all trained soldiers. For 30 years, humanity had hidden their true nature. They had pretended to be weak because they wanted to join the galactic community as friends, not conquerors. They had hoped that other species would accept them as equals through peaceful cooperation. Instead, the galaxy had seen kindness as weakness. They had mistaken mercy for inability. Now, with 50,000 human lives at stake, that long deception was about to end. Lisa activated her communication device. "This is Ambassador Carter to all Earth Command vessels. Begin revelation protocol immediately." Across the galaxy, on thousands of ships and stations, humans began dropping their disguises. Research vessels powered up hidden weapons. Peaceful colonies activated defense systems that had been concealed for decades. Diplomatic staff opened sealed orders that would change everything. The USS Liberty shuddered as hidden panels slid open along its hull. Massive plasma cannons emerged from concealment. Energy shields flickered to life around the ship. What had looked like a simple research vessel moments before now resembled something from a nightmare. Captain Morrison opened a channel to the Zephyrian ships. "This is Captain Jake Morrison of the United Earth ship Liberty. You have 30 seconds to withdraw from this system or face the consequences." The galaxy was about to learn what humans were really capable of when they stopped pretending to be harmless. The Zephyrian captain Crix Valor laughed as he watched the human research ship on his view screen. The small white vessel looked pathetic next to his massive battle cruiser. 30 seconds, he hissed to his crew. "What will the soft humans do? Throw their science equipment at us?" His laughter died when the human ship began to change. Panels slid open along the Liberty's hull with mechanical precision. Massive weapons emerged from hidden compartments that shouldn't have existed on a research vessel. Plasma cannons as large as small buildings unfolded from the ship's sides. Missile tubes opened like hungry mouths along the vessel's spine. Energy shields shimmered to life, surrounding the ship in a deadly blue glow. "What is that?" Crix Valor whispered, his yellow eyes wide with shock. On the Liberty's bridge, Captain Jake Morrison watched his tactical display come alive with weapon systems. After 8 years of pretending to be a peaceful explorer, it felt strange to see his ship's true capabilities displayed openly. "All weapons online, Captain," reported Chief Weapons Officer Linda Garcia. Her fingers moved across controls that had been hidden under false panels for years. "Target lock acquired on both Zephyrian vessels." "Sir," Tony Blake called from communications, "the Zephyrians are trying to contact us. They sound scared." Jake almost smiled. "Put them through." Crix Valor's panicked voice filled the bridge. "Human ship, what is the meaning of this? Your species doesn't have weapons like these." "Captain," Jake said calmly, "you were given 30 seconds to leave. You now have 15. The second Zephyrian ship began powering up its weapons but stopped when more human vessels appeared. They materialized out of empty space as their cloaking systems deactivated. 3 more ships identical to the Liberty took positions around the Zephyrian cruisers. Impossible, Crick's Valor breathed. Humans don't have cloaking technology. Jake's voice was ice cold. There are many things you don't know about humans. You have 5 seconds. Both Zephyrian ships fled the system faster than their engines should have allowed, leaving the human colony behind. On Harmony Prime, the Galactic Council chamber had fallen completely silent. Ambassador Lisa Carter stood before the assembled representatives, her hands steady as she operated a holographic projector that had been disguised as a simple data pad for 15 years. 3-dimensional images filled the air above the council chamber. Hundreds of human ships appeared in the display, their true forms revealed for the first time. What the galaxy had known as cargo vessels and research ships were actually massive warships. Defense stations that had been labeled as communication relays showed rows of weapon emplacements. For 30 years, Lisa said, her voice carrying clearly through the silent chamber. Humanity has maintained a peaceful presence in this galaxy. We joined your councils, signed your treaties, and followed your laws. We did this because we wanted to be your partners, not your rulers. Ambassador Vex Kalar's scaled hands shook as he stared at the images. A single human cargo ship was revealing weapon systems that could destroy his entire home fleet. This is impossible. Our intelligence services would have detected this. Lisa's smile was cold. Your intelligence services saw exactly what we wanted them to see. Dr. Amy Rodriguez, would you please explain to the council how we accomplished this? Amy stepped forward, no longer pretending to be just a simple science officer. Every human ship and station in the galaxy has been equipped with holographic disguise systems for 3 decades. We've been hiding our true military capabilities behind false images. What you saw as peaceful research was actually detailed intelligence gathering. We've been studying every species in this galaxy, learning your weaknesses, mapping your territories, and preparing for the day you would force us to reveal ourselves. The Hive Collective's buzzing became frantic. Their insect-like representatives clicked and chirped in their own language, trying to process what they were hearing. Finally, their speaker stood on multiple legs and addressed Lisa. You have been deceiving us for 30 years? Why? Because we hoped it wouldn't be necessary, Lisa replied. We wanted to join the galactic community as equals. We thought that if we showed restraint and diplomacy, other species would respect us. Instead, you saw our peaceful nature as weakness. You pushed our borders, threatened our colonies, and treated us like children who needed protection. The ancient Vorthan representative leaned forward on his platform. His voice carried the weight of centuries. If humans possess this level of military power, why have you hidden it? Most species would use such strength to conquer others. Lisa nodded. That's exactly why we hid it. We didn't want to be conquerors. We wanted to be partners. But when you attack our colonies and threaten our people, you force our hand. Across the galaxy, similar revelations were taking place. General Chris Parker stood in what had appeared to be a simple supply depot near the Hive Collective border. At his command, the buildings transformed. Warehouses became missile silos. Administrative buildings revealed themselves as command centers. Defensive walls rose from underground positions. Sir, reported Colonel Nancy Davis, all defense installations are now visible and operational. The Hive scouts that have been probing our borders are retreating. Chris watched the tactical display as dozens of insectoid ships fled from positions they had thought were undefended. They're finally beginning to understand. On the research station Gamma 7, Dr. Kevin Martinez was showing alien visitors something that made them pale with fear. The station's laboratory levels were retracting, revealing manufacturing facilities that had been producing advanced weapons for decades. This is where we've been reverse engineering your technology, Kevin explained to a group of terrified alien scientists. Every device you've shared with us, every piece of equipment we've purchased, every system we've observed, we've improved upon all of it. Did you really think a species capable of faster-than-light travel couldn't figure out your relatively simple designs? The alien scientists looked at weapons that were clearly based on their own technology, but advanced far beyond anything their civilizations had achieved. Zephyrian plasma rifles had been turned into cannons. Vorthon energy shields had been improved to near-perfect efficiency. Hive communication systems had been adapted to disrupt their own species' coordination. Back on Harmony Prime, the council chamber remained dead silent as Lisa continued her presentation. We gave you every opportunity to treat us with respect. We offered trade agreements, scientific cooperation, and mutual defense pacts. In return, you called us weak. You claimed we needed protection. You suggested that human space should be administered by more capable species. She gestured to the holographic displays. These are our true capabilities. Every human colony has defensive systems that can destroy invasion fleets. Every human ship carries enough firepower to level cities. Every human station is a fortress, in disguise. We built all of this while maintaining our peaceful facade because we hoped we would never need to use it. Ambassador Vex Kalar finally found his voice. What do you want from us now? Lisa's expression softened slightly. The same thing we've always wanted. Respect, peace, equal treatment in the galactic community. The difference is that now you understand what we're capable of if those things are denied to us. The revelation rippled through the galaxy at the speed of light. Species that had dismissed humanity as weak and harmless suddenly realized they had been living next to a sleeping giant. The humans had been kind not because they were helpless, but because they chose to be. They had been peaceful not because they couldn't fight, but because they didn't want to. Now the pretense was over and the galaxy would never be the same. The Zephyrian homeworld of Scaleson had never seen so many ships in its orbit. Admiral Rex Turner stood on the bridge of the UES Thunderstrike, watching as his fleet positioned itself around the planet. For 30 years, the Zephyrians had seen humans as weak creatures who needed protection. Now they were learning the truth. Admiral, reported Commander Sarah Williams from the tactical station, all ships are in position. The Zephyrian defense fleet is not responding to our presence. Rex looked at the display. 50 Zephyrian warships hung motionless in space, their weapons powered down. They had seen what happened to the ships that tried to fight human vessels. The USS Liberty had destroyed 3 Zephyrian cruisers in less than 10 minutes, and those had been among their best ships. Open a channel to the planetary government, Rex ordered. The Zephyrian High Command appeared on the main screen. Their leader, Scale Master Vorth, was trying to look brave, but his yellow eyes showed fear. Admiral Turner, what is the meaning of this invasion? This isn't an invasion, Rex replied calmly. This is a police action. Your ships attacked our colony at Kepler 442b. You killed 50,000 innocent people. Now you will face justice. Justice? Vorth hissed. By whose authority? Rex smiled coldly. By the authority of being stronger than you. Isn't that how the galaxy works? You've spent 30 years telling us that might makes right, that stronger species should rule weaker ones. Well, we're stronger than you. Much stronger. On the planet's surface, General Chris Parker was leading the ground operation. His Marines moved through the capital city with precision that amazed alien observers. They had been studying Zephyrian military tactics for decades, learning every weakness, every blind spot, sir, reported Lieutenant Colonel Nancy Davis. We've secured the government buildings. No casualties on our side. The Zephyrians aren't even trying to fight back. Chris nodded. It wasn't surprising. The Zephyrians were bullies who only picked on those they thought were weaker. When faced with real opposition, they crumbled quickly. In the Hive Collective territory, a different kind of war was taking place. The insectoid species had always relied on their numbers and their hive mind to overwhelm enemies. They had never faced an opponent who understood their biology better than they did themselves. Dr. Kevin Martinez sat in a command center that had been disguised as a research station for 20 years. Banks of computers around him were running, programs that had taken decades to develop. Initiate communication disruption, he ordered. Across hive space, the insects suddenly found themselves unable to coordinate. The signals that connected their hive mind were being jammed by human technology. Individual hive warriors stopped in confusion, unable to receive orders from their queens. Sir, reported Specialist Linda Garcia, the hive fleets are breaking formation. Without their mental connections, they can't work together. Kevin watched as the most feared military force in the local galaxy fell apart in minutes. 30 years of studying their communication methods, he said quietly. They never suspected we were learning how to turn their greatest strength into their greatest weakness. The Hive Queen Zix-9 felt the disconnection like a physical blow. For the first time in her long life, she was alone in her own mind. Around her, worker insects wandered aimlessly, unable to receive her commands. How is this possible? She clicked frantically to her advisors, but they couldn't hear her mental voice anymore. A human voice answered instead, coming from speakers throughout her throne chamber. Your Majesty, this is Dr. Kevin Martinez of Earth Command. We've temporarily disabled your species' hive mind abilities. Don't worry, it's not permanent. We're not monsters. What do you want? The Queen managed to say in spoken words, something she hadn't done in centuries. We want you to stop expanding into human space, Kevin replied. We want you to stop treating other species like food. We want you to join the galactic community as equals, not as conquerors. The Vorthan Assembly had watched the fall of the Zephyrians and the Hive Collective with growing alarm. They were the oldest species in the galaxy, ancient and proud. They had ruled their section of space for millennia. Surely the young humans wouldn't dare challenge them. They were wrong. Captain Jake Morrison's fleet appeared in the Vorthan home system without warning. The ancient aliens had sensors that could detect ships from light years away, but they hadn't detected the humans until they were already there. Impossible, whispered Elder Voth Kalar from his crystalline tower. Our sensors show nothing. How did they get so close? Sir, his aide reported. The human ships are using some kind of stealth technology we've never seen before. They were completely invisible until they chose to reveal themselves. Jake's voice echoed through the Vorthan, capital city. Elder Voth Kalar, this is Captain Morrison. I believe you called my species the soft ones in your recent communications. I'm here to discuss that assessment. The Elder's voice shook as he replied. Captain Morrison, surely we can resolve this through diplomacy. We tried diplomacy for 30 years, Jake said. You ignored us, insulted us, and treated us like children. Now you want to talk? Very well. Here are our terms. You will recognize human sovereignty over our territory. You will stop referring to us as inferior. You will treat us as equals in all future dealings. Or you can face the same fate as the Zephyrians. Above the planet, the human fleet demonstrated their power by vaporizing several abandoned asteroids, with weapons that defied Vorthan understanding of physics. The ancient aliens, who had thought themselves technologically superior to all younger species, realized they were looking at technology centuries ahead of their own. Back on Harmony Prime, Ambassador Lisa Carter was fielding communications from across the galaxy. Species after species was requesting emergency meetings, offering treaties, begging for mercy. Ambassador, Amy Rodriguez reported, we're receiving surrender offers from 12 different governments. The Zephyrian Empire wants to negotiate terms. The Hive Collective is asking for a ceasefire. Even the Vorthan Assembly is requesting a diplomatic conference. Lisa nodded. That was faster than Earth Command predicted. How long has it been since we revealed ourselves? 72 hours, Amy replied. 3 days. In just 3 days, humanity had gone from being the galaxy's weakest species to its undisputed superpower, not through conquest or genocide, but simply by showing their true capabilities. The holographic display in Lisa's office showed the current state of the galaxy. Zephyrian fleets were withdrawing from all human territories. Hive expansion had stopped completely. Vorthan ships were actively avoiding human space. Dozens of smaller species were sending diplomatic messages to Earth, requesting protection from their more aggressive neighbors. Ma'am, Tony Blake called from his communication station. I'm getting reports from all over human space. The species that were threatening our colonies are pulling back. The trade routes that were being blocked are opening up. Even the pirates are avoiding our ships. Lisa smiled. For the first time in 30 years, Humanity didn't have to pretend to be something they weren't. They had tried to earn respect through kindness and diplomacy. When that failed, they had earned it through strength. The galaxy had learned an important lesson. Sometimes the most dangerous species is the one that doesn't want to fight. Because when they finally do, they've had time to prepare for every possible outcome. The age of human pretense was over. The age of human honesty had begun. 6 months after humanity revealed their true nature, the galaxy looked completely different. Ambassador Lisa Carter walked through the corridors of Harmony Prime, but now she wore the insignia of Secretary General of the Galactic Federation. The other species had voted unanimously to give her the position, not because they wanted to, but because they finally understood what humanity was capable of. The Zephyrian Empire had collapsed within weeks of Admiral Rex Turner's demonstration at their homeworld. Their government had surrendered after seeing human ships dismantle their entire defense fleet without taking a single casualty. Scalemaster Vorth now served as a regional administrator under human supervision, his people learning to live peacefully for the first time in centuries. "Ma'am," said Dr. Amy Rodriguez as she entered Lisa's new office, "the Zephyrian reconstruction is ahead of schedule. They're actually grateful for our help. Their economy is stronger now than it was when they were conquering other worlds." Lisa nodded as she reviewed reports from across human space. It was strange how quickly former enemies became cooperative when they realized humanity offered partnership instead of domination. "What about the Hive Collective? Dr. Martinez's communication protocols are working perfectly," Amy replied. "The individual hive clusters can still coordinate when they need to, but they can't organize large-scale military operations anymore. More importantly, they're starting to develop individual personalities. Some of the younger insects are even asking to study at human universities." The Hive Collective had been the most surprising success story. When Dr. Kevin Martinez had disrupted their hive mind, he hadn't destroyed it completely. Instead, he had given individual insects the ability to think for themselves while still maintaining loose connections to their queens. The result was a species that was learning creativity and independence for the first time in their evolution. Queen Zix9 had actually thanked him during their last communication. "You gave my children something we never knew we were missing," she had said through the translator. "The ability to choose their own paths." Captain Jake Morrison entered the office, still wearing his explorer's uniform but now with the rank of Fleet Admiral. His peaceful transformation of the Vorthan Assembly had become a model for how humanity dealt with former enemies. "The Vorthans want to share their historical archives with us," Jake reported. "Elder Voth Kalar says they've learned more about diplomacy from humans in 6 months than they did in 6,000 years of ruling through fear." Lisa smiled. The ancient Vorthans had been perhaps the most surprised by humanity's approach. After demonstrating overwhelming military superiority, humans had immediately offered cultural exchanges, scientific cooperation, and economic partnerships. The proud elder species had expected conquest and slavery. Instead, they got respect and friendship. "Any word from the outer systems?" Lisa asked. "General Parker reports that the former pirate territories are completely pacified," Jake replied. "Most of the raiders have actually joined our merchant marine. Turns out they were only pirates because they couldn't find honest work. Now they're protecting the same trade routes they used to attack." The transformation had been remarkable to watch. General Chris Parker's forces had expected to fight running battles against criminal organizations throughout the Outer Rim. Instead, they found desperate people who had turned to crime because the galaxy's established powers had abandoned their regions. Human aid programs, infrastructure development, and job creation had eliminated piracy more effectively than any military campaign. Colonel Nancy Davis entered with the latest intelligence reports. "Ma'am, we're receiving requests for membership in the new Federation from 17 more species. That brings the total to 43. The new Galactic Federation was nothing like the old one. Under human leadership, it focused on mutual benefit, rather than dominance hierarchies. Smaller species that had been ignored or exploited by the major powers were suddenly finding themselves with equal votes and protected rights. Tony Blake, now serving as Director of Interspecies Communication, had revolutionized how different species talked to each other. His translation protocols didn't just convert languages, they helped species understand each other's cultural contexts and emotional meanings. The crystalline entities want to establish an embassy on Earth, Tony reported. They say they've never encountered a species that treats silicon-based life forms as equals. Lisa looked out the observation window at the space around Harmony Prime. Where once there had been military patrols from competing powers, now there were mixed fleets of human and alien ships working together. Trade vessels moved freely between systems that had been closed to each other for centuries. Specialist Linda Garcia, now head of the new Galactic Security Force, provided the military update. All former conflict zones are reporting green status. The Rigel border dispute has been resolved through arbitration. The Antares trade war ended when both sides realized human shipping could supply all their needs more efficiently than fighting over resources. The galaxy had learned that human military might was matched by human industrial capacity. Earth's hidden manufacturing capabilities could produce goods faster and cheaper than most civilizations could manage. Rather than conquering markets, humans had simply made war economically pointless. Dr. Kevin Martinez joined the meeting via hologram from his new position as Director of Xenological Research. The knowledge-sharing program is exceeding all expectations, he reported. We've made more scientific breakthroughs in the last 6 months than the galaxy achieved in the previous century. When species stop hiding their discoveries from each other, progress accelerates exponentially. Lisa thought about how far they had come. For 30 years, humanity had hidden their true capabilities while begging to be treated as equals. They had offered friendship and received contempt. They had proposed cooperation and been dismissed as weak. Now, after revealing their strength, they were finally getting the partnership they had always wanted. "What's the status of the memorial project?" Lisa asked. Amy's expression became solemn. "The Kepler 442b Memorial Station is complete. The 50,000 colonists who died in the Zephyrian attack are being honored by representatives from every species in the Federation. Even former enemies are contributing to the monument." The memorial had become a symbol of the new galaxy. Built where the human colony had been destroyed, it served as a reminder of what happened when species chose aggression over diplomacy. But it also celebrated the peace that had followed, with gardens contributed by dozens of different worlds. Elder Voth Kalar appeared on a communication screen, his ancient face showing something that might have been a smile. "Secretary General Carter, the Vorthan Assembly wishes to formally apologize for our past arrogance. We called your species soft ones because we mistook compassion for weakness. We now understand that the strongest beings are those who choose not to use their strength unnecessarily." The irony wasn't lost on Lisa. Humanity had spent decades being called weak by species who were actually far weaker than they were. Now, those same species were praising human strength while benefiting from human restraint. "Thank you, Elder," Lisa replied. "But we prefer to think of ourselves as practical. War is expensive and destructive. Peace is profitable for everyone." As the meeting ended, Lisa remained at the observation window. The galaxy had learned that the most dangerous species wasn't the one with the biggest weapons or the most aggressive nature. It was the one that could destroy you but chose not to, the one that could conquer everything but preferred to build partnerships instead. Humanity had finally dropped their pretenses, and the galaxy was better for it. The age of human honesty had created something no one had expected: genuine peace, built not on fear or domination, but on mutual respect and shared prosperity. The pretense was gone, but the galaxy had discovered it preferred humans when they were being honest about their capabilities. After all, it was much easier to trust someone when you knew exactly what they could do to you and chose not to.